Have you ever felt haunted by someone who's no longer around, yet they live rent-free in your mind? Like no matter how hard you try to move on, your thoughts keep circling back, replaying moments, fantasizing about what could be, and aching for something that feels just out of reach. You're not broken, you're not weak. You're caught in an invisible loop, one that your heart feels, but your mind can't explain. But what if I told you that obsession isn't love, it's a signal, a spiritual message disguised as longing, and once you decode it, you don't just move on, you rise above. In this message, I'm going to share 5 powerful techniques that aren't just about forgetting someone. They're about freeing your soul, reclaiming your energy, and finally stepping back into the most magnetic version of you. Because the truth is, you don't need to chase closure. You don't need to beg the past to make sense. You need to return to your center, and I'm about to show you how. Let's begin. When you're caught in obsession, it feels like a storm you can't escape. Thoughts loop endlessly. You check your phone, you fantasize, you analyze every interaction. And in those moments, it's easy to think something is wrong with you. But from a spiritual lens, obsession is not a failure. It's an invitation. It's not a mistake. It's a message. Your soul is speaking through your emotions, asking you to look deeper, not outward, but inward. Obsession is never random. It always arrives carrying meaning. It's the psyche's way of waving a red flag and saying, there's something here for you, something that needs healing, something that needs to be seen. The person you're obsessing over is often just the mirror, not the source. They reflect back parts of you that feel incomplete, unloved, or unexpressed. That intense longing, it's not just for them. It's for a version of you that you've forgotten or never fully met. Instead of judging yourself for obsessing, start asking better questions. What does this person symbolize in my life? Maybe they represent confidence, freedom, excitement, or emotional safety. Why do I feel like I need them to feel whole? That answer will reveal which part of your soul is aching for integration. Have I felt this way before? Often the obsession isn't new, it's a recurring pattern rooted in childhood. Maybe you had to earn love, maybe love felt inconsistent. Obsession then becomes a reenactment of that early script, a subconscious attempt to finally win the love you never fully received. This is where spiritual awareness becomes powerful. Once you recognize obsession as a teacher, not a tormentor, everything shifts. You move from shame to compassion, from clinging to curiosity. You stop asking, how do I make them love me? And start asking, what do I need to give myself that I keep projecting onto them? That's the real healing. From a soul perspective, every obsession is a compass. It points not toward the other person, but toward your own unmet truth. It guides you back to the places within that are still waiting to be loved by you. That intense longing, it's your soul reaching out, saying, come back home to yourself. And when you begin to meet that longing with presence instead of pursuit, something beautiful happens. The need to chase dissolves. You no longer need someone else to make you feel worthy, seen, or alive. You become the source. And as you anchor into your own worth, the obsession fades, not because you forced it away, but because you finally received the message it carried. So next time obsession rises, pause and listen. Don't shame it. Don't run from it. Ask it what it's trying to teach you, because when you meet it with love, it transforms. And in that transformation, you rise, not as someone trying to get love, but as someone who remembers they already are it. Obsession often isn't just about the person, it's about the chemical loop your mind has unknowingly built around them. Spiritually speaking, this loop isn't just a habit, it's a distraction from your own power. And understanding how it works is the first step to breaking free. Let's talk about dopamine, the neurotransmitter of wanting, not having. It doesn't bring peace, it brings pursuit. Every time you check their profile, replay a memory, or get a maybe from them, your brain gives you a small dopamine hit. That hit feels good for a second, but then it fades and you're left wanting more. That's not real love, that's a chase. It's not your soul speaking, it's your survival brain chasing stimulation. This is why you feel stuck. Spiritually, you are wired for wholeness, but your brain may be conditioned for dopamine crumbs. And as long as you keep feeding the loop through scrolling, fantasizing, texting, or mentally rehearsing scenarios, you reinforce the pattern. You train your body and mind to associate this person with emotional reward, even if they bring you more confusion than clarity. So how do you break free? You don't fight the loop with willpower alone, you replace it, because the brain, much like the soul, craves nourishment. If you don't give it something real, it will keep reaching for what's familiar. Start with no contact, or at the very least radically reduce your exposure. That means no checking up, no late-night scrolls, no reopening conversations that only keep you in limbo. Each time you don't feed the loop, you reclaim your power. Each pause is a spiritual micro-rebellion, a moment of choosing truth over illusion. Then replace the dopamine hits with real, nourishing emotional rewards. These aren't quick fixes, but they are soul-aligning. Connect with inspiring people who make you feel expanded, not diminished. Create something, a project, a business idea, art, writing, anything that channels your energy into expression rather than obsession. Journal your journey. Each time you resist the urge to feed the loop, celebrate it. Track your progress, see how far you've come. Your brain can't stay in withdrawal forever. Eventually, it adapts. It starts craving the new normal, which, when chosen consciously, can be a life of presence, purpose, and peace. The goal isn't to just remove the person from your mind, it's to remove the need for them to complete you. Spiritually, this isn't just a mental detox, it's a return to your energetic sovereignty. When you stop letting someone else control your emotional highs and lows, you return to center. You remember that your soul doesn't chase, it creates. Your worth isn't proven by who you win over, it's revealed in who you become when you stop chasing and start building. So feed your spirit, not the loop, because the reward you truly seek isn't another dopamine rush, it's the quiet, steady joy of coming back home to yourself. So many people try to think their way out of obsession, using logic, affirmations, or distraction. But the truth is, obsession is not just an emotional or mental pattern, it is deeply physiological. It lives in the body. And spiritually speaking, your body is the sacred home of your soul. When your nervous system is in distress, your mind will frantically reach for anything that feels like safety, even if it's a person who keeps you stuck. Obsession is often a stress response, a symptom of a dysregulated nervous system. When you're living in a chronic state of fight, flight, or freeze, the body is scanning for danger. It craves control, certainty, and comfort. And in that state of survival, the mind attaches to someone or something as a lifeline. That's why you keep thinking about them. Your body believes this person will save you from pain, give you the love you never had, or fill the void inside. It's not love, it's survival. This is where spiritual healing meets nervous system healing. You don't need to chase closure. You need to give your body a felt sense of safety. When your inner world is calm, the compulsion to obsess begins to dissolve. Start with simple, body-based practices that bring you back into the present moment. Deep breathing, especially exhale-focused, calms the vagus nerve and signals to your brain, "We are safe now." Try breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4, and exhaling for 8. Cold exposure, like cold showers or placing cold water on your face, helps reset the nervous system and bring you back into your body. Movement in nature, like walking barefoot on grass or sitting under a tree, grounds your energy and reconnects you with the Earth's stabilizing frequency. Then go deeper with somatic awareness. Ask yourself, where do I feel this obsession in my body? You might feel it in your chest, your stomach, or your throat. Close your eyes and sit with the sensation, not to judge it, but to witness it. Often, just giving that feeling your presence can allow it to move, shift, and release. Spiritually, your body is always speaking. Obsession is the soul's cry for safety filtered through the language of the nervous system. When you ignore the body, the obsession intensifies. But when you make space to feel, without shame or panic, you begin to regulate the storm inside. Over time, as your nervous system learns that it no longer has to cling, chase, or fight for love, it begins to soften. The panic subsides. The urgency fades. You return to your center, and from that still, safe place, you no longer seek someone else to be your anchor because you have become it for yourself. This is not just healing. This is spiritual mastery, reclaiming your peace by coming home to your body and trusting that your presence is enough. Obsession often feels overwhelming, like you're under a spell you can't shake. But what if the person you're fixated on isn't the one holding the power? What if the real spell is the story you've written about them? Spiritually, this is where projection meets illusion. Obsession doesn't just thrive on emotional need, it thrives on fantasy, and more often than not, you're not truly in love with the person, you're in love with the idea of them, with the potential, the dream, the role they've played in the movie that exists only in your mind. This is the power of projection. When we don't feel whole inside, we look for someone outside to carry our unlived dreams. We assign them traits they may not even possess. We inflate their value. We exaggerate their significance. We look past red flags, rewrite memories, and glorify moments that, in truth, were probably quite ordinary. But when the soul is starved for meaning, even crumbs can look like a feast. To spiritually break free, you must deconstruct the fantasy, and that begins with honesty. Sit down with yourself and write the actual story you've been telling yourself about them. They're different. They're the one. No one else will make me feel this way. Now challenge that narrative. Ask, is this true? What evidence do I actually have? What qualities have I projected onto them that I long to embody myself? And most importantly, what did I ignore to keep this fantasy alive? This is where transformation begins. When you confront the illusions, you reclaim your clarity. When you own the narrative, you reclaim your power. Now it's time to rewrite the story. But this time, let it come from truth, not from fear or longing. What's the version where you are the hero? What does your life look like when you are the one who holds the magic, the mystery, the depth, not them? What if the lesson was never about getting them, but about awakening to parts of yourself that you've projected outward? Spiritually, obsession is often a mirror. It reflects back the desires you haven't yet given yourself permission to fully explore. That person who seems so magnetic, maybe they represent the adventurous, expressive, or confident version of you that's waiting to be birthed. When you bring those traits back home, when you embody the very energy you once chased, you no longer need to romanticize someone else to feel whole. The moment you reclaim the pen and write a story where you're the one with the light, the obsession fades into what it always was: a chapter, a teacher, a symbolic nudge toward your deeper truth. You are not a side character in someone else's fantasy. You are the author of your own. And when you choose truth over illusion, you don't just let go of them, you remember yourself. Obsession doesn't always scream, it often whispers. It creeps in quietly through your thoughts, replaying memories, creating what-ifs, and stirring emotions that feel real but are often built on illusion. From a spiritual perspective, this isn't love, it's mental trespassing. Every time you spiral into fantasies about them, replay conversations, or imagine different outcomes, you are energetically handing them the keys to your inner sanctuary. And let's be honest, they're living there rent-free. We tend to think of boundaries as something we set with other people, but the most powerful boundaries are the ones we set within ourselves, with our own minds. Why? Because your thoughts shape your emotions, and your emotions influence your vibration. When your mental space is cluttered with someone who isn't actively present in your life, your energy becomes scattered, anxious, and fragmented. That's not romantic, it's disempowering. This is where thought discipline becomes a spiritual tool, not to suppress your emotions, but to protect your energy. Every time your mind tries to wander into fantasy, regret, or longing, pause and say to yourself, I'm going there again. No judgment, just awareness. Awareness is the first step to freedom. Next, redirect your energy with a pre-decided mantra or affirmation that brings you back to center. I choose peace over fantasy. This thought is not my truth. My mind is a sacred space. I choose who gets to stay. These aren't just cute phrases, they're energetic shields. With each repetition, you retrain your brain to value presence over illusion. Another powerful tool is visualization. The subconscious mind speaks in images, not logic. So when obsession creeps in, close your eyes and visualize a soft, gentle door closing on the image of this person. Don't slam it. No anger, no drama, just a firm, graceful closure. Then visualize yourself walking away into a new scene, a new version of your life. One where you are grounded, joyful, and fully here. This simple exercise signals to your nervous system that the story is shifting and you are in charge of where it goes next. Remember, thought discipline isn't about emotional repression. It's about emotional protection. It's reclaiming your mental space as sacred ground, and it's refusing to let someone who isn't actively nourishing your life become the center of it. Spiritually, your energy is currency. Where you invest it determines what multiplies. When you stop pouring it into obsession and start investing it into your healing, growth, and presence, miracles happen. The fog lifts, the urgency fades, and you realize you were never chasing them. You were chasing a version of yourself that you now have the power to embody. So honor your mind as sacred space. Be the guardian of your inner temple. Because when your thoughts align with your worth, your soul no longer seeks love in fantasy. It creates it in reality. And there you have it. 5 powerful techniques to help you stop obsessing over someone and finally come back home to yourself. Remember, obsession isn't love. It's a message. And once you learn to read that message, everything starts to shift. You become clearer, calmer, and so much more powerful than the story you were stuck in. If this message helped you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more content that heals the heart and empowers the soul. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know. Which of these 5 techniques spoke to your soul the most? Or simply write, "I reclaim my energy," to affirm your healing journey and seal the shift. Thanks for watching, and remember, your peace is sacred. Protect it fiercely. Until next time.